Hey, what's up? I'm here with Young Rival. We got Aaron and John. What's up, guys? Thanks for coming in.
No worries. Thanks for having us.
Thanks for leaving your guitar here. It looks very cool.
Good spot. Good spot.
So I guess my first question is, how does a band from Canada, the Hammer, end up getting a sort of summery, beachy sound? I mean, you guys have probably seen harsher winters than most.
Yeah.
True.
Where does that side of the band come from?
Oh, it's interesting. I guess like I wouldn't quite say it's beachy. It has elements of like surf rock and stuff like that.
Yeah.
We're definitely.
That's what I mean.
Yeah. We're definitely into that kind of stuff, and a lot of our favorite records are old records and things like that. So. Yeah, it's just influences.
Maybe
it's
it's
just kind of lined up with a lot of other sorts of
a
things.
bit
that are
of
happening
surf rock coming out there, I guess, that maybe is underlying it. But
Yeah.
You guys have the shades too, you know?
We got the shades, yeah.
hoping for the sun.
The only reason I bring it up is because, I mean, on your MySpace page, there is a quote from the guy from Happy Mondays, and he says, you know, it's like the Beach Boys meet the Sex Pistols. How did you guys feel about that comment?
I thought it was great, actually.
It's a pretty cool comment.
I thought it really rounded out what we do, because at the heart of what we do, we're a rock and roll band, and we can get pretty rough around the edges for sure. And but we also have a softer kind of melodic aspect to what we do as well. Which, I mean, a Beach Boys reference is
I thought it was a
cool,
pretty interesting mashup of two bands, because if you think of those two bands, they're pretty drastic.
How do you do it?
Yeah.
How do you do it? Yeah.
You know?
Both great.
And we're out there, we're doing it.
Yeah, you guys are doing it. Yeah. Both bands are extremely good songwriters in their own vein too.
Yeah.
Sure, yeah.
So it's got to be a bit of a compliment.
Oh,
you know?
big time,
Yeah,
yeah.
for sure.
Yeah.
Definitely, yeah.
So let's talk about the new record. Before we started rolling, I was asking you guys whether or not it's called LP or if it's just self-titled.
Right.
Because the EP is self-titled, right?
Yeah.
Cool.
Yeah,
So
we're not too creative when it comes to naming albums. It's technically just self-titled. There's no name to the album, so it's just Young Rival. But some people have been we have been referring to it as LP to tell it apart from the EP that we put out.
Yeah.
Cool.
But
It's like a self-titled EP and then a self-titled LP.
yeah,
So when we get into the next one, we'll have to name it something
Yeah.
to describe
The
it.
self-titled second full
Yeah.
length.
Yeah.
We'll do that maybe.
I like that.
How did you guys start out? I mean, how did it all happen? You guys are all from Hamilton, right?
Yep.
Yeah.
Because there's totally a hotbed of music out there.
Yeah,
Yeah.
definitely. I mean, I met Noah in high school. We've been playing forever together. And John kind of came along quite some time thereafter.
Yeah, university years, I met these guys. And
Yeah. Kyle, who used to play in our band, brought John in for like an open audition because we lost our bass player, Sauce, like a while back.
I saw these guys play. They opened for the Flashing Lights actually in Hamilton at the Underground, and that probably would have been in 2004 maybe.
Yeah.
And I was at that show, and I saw the Ride Theory play, which was like an old incarnation of this current setup. So I kind of became aware of them through that, and then realized they needed a bass player, so jumped on board.
So where does the band name come from? Because I know that that's like a very generic question that you ask bands, and bands hate that question. But
Yeah.
Young Rival,
Yeah.
would it not be Young Rivals?
Not so much. I mean, it kind of like summed up our feelings toward the music industry. I feel that we rival the sentiment of the music industry, really. It felt like it really kind of just like, there needs to be some bands out there that
Yeah, I think
shake
we
things
just try
up.
to. I mean, finding a name for a band is such a
Yeah.
fickle process to go through, and
Yeah.
it's worse than having to name a kid or something. It's because everyone's going to ask you, why did you name your band that? And for us, it was just something. It was a phrase that we thought kind of summed up our mindset at the time of just really focusing on music, and we really had lots of ambition and drive to go forward with it. So we felt it fit.
How do you guys deal with the hype with the band? I mean, first of all, it must feel good to have this record finally come out.
Yeah, it's great. Yeah.
And I mean, are you guys okay with the hype? Because there's a lot of hype around you guys. Are you guys okay with that? Does that bother you? Do you think about it?
That's a great
No,
thing.
we
If
like
there's-
that. It
yeah.
doesn't bother us. It's not something that like weirds us out or anything. I mean, we've been a band for a long time. We're all really like grounded and realistic guys. So like, you know,
It's got cherry on top, really. It's like, if people know about your music,
because we
then
can live
it's
up
good.
to hype. That's the thing. If it's a buzz and stuff that isn't really about anything, then it's like, what's that about? You can't come to the table with anything, then it's not going to really go anywhere. But if people want to come and see a good rock and roll show, we can do that. If that's what the hype's about, then we can deliver that.
And I mean, you guys are going to do that, and you're doing it in the States and England. Now,
Yeah.
I'd imagine that's probably pretty huge for you guys. Have you guys toured the States and have you toured England before?
We've played.
We did a week in the UK last October. We did about 4 shows over there.
How'd that go?
It was great.
Really
It was
well.
for a first time going over there. It was a bit of a gamble for us. We didn't really know
Yeah.
what to expect, and the shows turned out as best as we could have hoped, and we set up some good contacts there, and definitely made some new fans, which is kind
Yeah.
of the best and most exciting thing.
You just got to go out and take chances as a band and do things that
Yeah.
might be tricky, you know, or that you might take a loss on. But like, you can't just sit around and hope that something's going to happen for you. You got to go out and make things happen, you know. You make your own luck, really. So going out and doing something like that, not a lot of bands would do it. It's just like, well, how are we going to get an audience over there? You got to start somewhere. You got to set up the pins at least, you know.
Yeah, yeah.
Knock them down later.
It's very Hamilton working class.
Yeah.
values.
absolutely.
DIY
Yeah,
of you
yeah.
guys.
Yeah.
For sure. Yeah.
Well, I mean, how important is touring to this band? I mean,
Very. That's our favorite thing to do. I mean, like, at the heart of what we do, we are a band. And even like when we didn't have, that's what we want to be doing all the time, is playing.
Yeah.
And that's what bands do. It's like, even if when we didn't have like we did a tour last summer, we didn't really have a record, we didn't have anything to tour on. We just had our EP that we had already released, and we're like, well, what are we going to do this time? It's like, well, let's go, let's tour. You know, we just wanted to tour and be a band, because that's what we like doing.
Did you guys jump in a band and do Canada?
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, we've done Canada several times.
And what does that do for a musician, especially when you're a Canadian musician, when you actually get to go
What
to
does
one
that
end of
do
the
for a
country to the
musician?
other?
Yeah, I mean, it makes you excellent
Grounds
at knowing what subway stops to stop at. Not subway, but
Yeah.
subways in the food chain. Not the-
Yes, actually understood.
And,
what you meant by
yeah.
that. Something.
You get to know
Figure out how many bagels you could possibly
your bagel
eat.
count, your coffee
Gotta
count
get
at
your
Tim
bagel
Hortons.
counts up, your coffee counts.
It definitely, I think it strengthens your work ethic.
Yeah.
It makes you realize that when you're on the opposite side of the country in a van, like, it's the real, like, you know, you're in it, you know, like, you
Yeah,
can't
yeah.
just kind of jump on a plane and go home. You're like, you're there and you're dedicated to what you're doing, and you're going to make the best of it while you're out there.
Yeah.
Let's talk about Authentic. I saw the video for it on Chatroulette, which I thought was like amazing, and I love the fact that there was a Star Wars fan in there. I was
Yeah,
like,
sure, why not?
yeah,
not?
Star Wars geek. Awesome.
Yeah.
I think it was a clone.
I think it was a clone as well.
I thought it was a stormtrooper. It was a clone. There were no Wangs or Dinks, thankfully.
Yeah,
In the, did you guys have to edit those out?
We sure did.
Yeah.
I sure did. I somehow,
did.
because it was my idea, I guess I'm the one who got stuck with doing the editing. And
I haven't gone on Chatroulette, so is it like as bad as they?
oh, it's horrible. Yeah. I mean, we were trying to do something that we thought would be
horrendous,
kind of a positive use with it, because when I first read about the site on an article on Wired, I checked it out and I thought it's a pretty cool idea. It's really simple, but I
Yeah.
thought it'd be really neat if lots of musicians got on board.
Yeah.
And if you could just click around and surf around and see these different bands playing, and you're the only audience member.
Yeah.
So we tried to do something that was a better use, I guess, of the website than what lots of other people are using it for.
Yeah.
So there isn't like an X-rated version of the video.
No, we
Okay.
probably
Could
could have
be.
made about 5 copies of it,
Yeah.
but I
What's the
just leave it at
ratio
that.
there? Don't know why I'm so curious.
8 to 1?
Yeah,
8 to 1?
go check it out. 8 to 1, I don't know. It's up there.
But I mean, you guys
Bizarre
are pretty,
people.
you guys are like really forward online. I was playing today. I was playing guitar fishing, which is awesome. It's actually really addictive. I chose the Wildcat.
Oh,
Good.
wicked,
That's
yeah.
a great
It's a
one.
new
The
character in the
Wildcat, I
game.
think,
We just
yeah.
added him
Did you
recently.
guys?
Yeah.
Great character.
the Welsh.
For anybody that doesn't know, it's like a video game. These guys created a video game online where you use a guitar to fish for fish.
For
and then you have to avoid
guitar
boots.
fish, yeah.
Yes.
Who came up with that idea? And yeah.
Well, yeah, it's kind of like my brother actually had this dream a couple years ago, and his friend was telling me about this crazy dream where he's fishing and playing guitar and catching fish with the guitar.
He's floating.
And I just thought that sounds like
Floating
a
down the
video
Nile
game,
River.
floating down the Nile River on a lily pad. And I was like, that sounds like a video game to me. So I think my brother thought I was joking, but I was like, I'm going to make that into a game. So I did, and then I thought, well, it'd be a pretty funny idea to tie it into, like, have a song streaming. So
Yeah,
it's kind
yeah,
of like a promotion.
T-shirts and shorts.
Yeah, so
Yeah.
it all kind of came together in a pretty funny way. So.
Yeah.
It's a great idea. I mean, is that something that you guys, because the way the music industry's gone, is
Yeah.
that something that you have to sort of think about a little bit more, is being a little bit more innovative in those ways?
Absolutely.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I think you have to find ways now. You have to give an excuse to people to kind of listen to your music in lots of ways if you're trying to get the attention of people.
Yeah.
You kind of have to give them something to bite.
And is it working for you guys? Does it work?
It's been, yeah. I think people are just kind of like bored of the old model, just like you put out a record and that's because there's so much more that you could be doing, you know, and to just kind of embrace all the media things. And we're lucky we got this guy. He's a fucking savvy dude when it comes to this stuff. But yeah, it's important to do that stuff. I think. And we got more, like when we put out that guitar fishing, we got more press from that than
Really?
And he was like, "Yeah, we play music too."
Yeah, yeah. Oh, yeah.
Yeah, just have
They're going to
like,
form like a
video
media
games.
company or something. I don't know.